Hi guys, and welcome to another rambling. And in case you are asking yourself why it's not the weekend yet, it's just Friday. No, I don't actually think anyone will, because not that it really matters, but the main reason is I yesterday bought my Panasonic Lumix G7. It should be there. I would actually turn around to show it, but I really don't want to mess with the autofocus, because this is the one thing that I'm still having trouble with. And if you don't care about the camera or anything about that, use this here. Will it be? No, will be here. Oh, use one of these two places. I can't really remember, because usually I don't look at the small monitor besides the camera. That is one of the things. So use that to skip to another part. I don't have too much topics today, because the main reason why I wanted to do this today, because tomorrow I want to review the Mate 8, and until then I need to figure out the camera to work at least good enough so I can record without too many focusing issues, because I still have some issues. For example, right now I use tracking and it is kind of pointing towards my head. For some reason, if I do face tracking, it doesn't track sometimes completely at all. I don't get it to track. If it does, it does, but if not, so the face tracking right now seems to work. And I notice sometimes when there's no tracking signal at all for the focus, and I'm actually looking at the display a bit, then it seems to work actually quite good out of the box without me doing anything. But the reason, there are a few things that I would like to talk about for the camera, because this is a mirrorless camera, and until today, so far, I only used camcorder. So I used my, where is it? Let's actually take it off. I can do this quite easy. Oh yeah, I used this here. My Panasonic, also Panasonic HC 878. I really like the quality, but I just wanted a few different things. Especially I wanted two cameras that deliver me a great production quality, which I think this one does, especially if you are recording devices from up top like I do. And my other camera, that is actually, I hope I will stay in focus, is this old piece, and that is actually, what is it called? The HC 727. That one is like about 3 years old now. And the quality back then was good, but I wanted two cameras on the similar level to produce better quality just for myself, because either I used one and the other for the dual cam, because I definitely want to stay on the dual cam setup, because I just prefer that the most. But either I used this one to record myself, then I was happy, but the footage of the device wasn't that good, or otherwise it bothered me more that the quality that filmed me wasn't really as sharp as I wanted to, and there was a difference. So I wanted to do this. I thought about getting the Sony 8AX33 camcorder, also 4K, that would actually surpass this one, which is even better because a higher bitrate and all that, the optics are better. But in the end I decided to go for something that a camcorder just can't deliver, and that is a bokeh effect, or a shallow depth of field, which this camera does offer, but actually not as much as I expect to, because I read a lot, I did my research, and then I noticed that you need a, and this is because I'm not a camera guy, you need a camera with a smaller aperture. And there is, for example, the one with, I think, 25 millimeters and 1.7 aperture, and I use the kit lens, which I think will be good enough for now, definitely, which is 14 by 45 or something like that, 42 with 3.5. So that's why I don't get too much shallow depth of field. And yeah, but it should provide me with a different kind of footage here, because I wanted this shallow depth of field. But there are definitely a few sacrifices that I do with possibly better picture quality, because I definitely noticed if I do a proper lighting, and this is definitely, I don't think, the final quality yet so far, because I really have to learn a lot to get this properly set up. I really had a hard time getting that done to make at least a video that is online presentable. But let's just quickly get into the things, and this is kind of like a separate topic, because it doesn't have to do specifically with this camera, and that would be a 4K camcorder versus a 4K, in this case a mirrorless camera. What are the pros and cons? And here, for the camcorder, definitely the pros are the class leading, and I don't think any normal camera can provide this, is the autofocus. Because if I do my shots of my devices, I never have to bother about the focus. It always finds exactly what I want to get. It doesn't have to have like this mirrorless cam this way. Where should I track or everything? It just does it. I didn't ever have to think about it. It provides a great sharp picture. It's maybe not that great for low light, and the light that gets into it isn't that good, but it's definitely good enough, and this quality would have been fine. So I could have used like 2 of these, but I wanted a little bit more flexibility also, because the Lumix G7 is a camera for pics, and I couldn't really make good pics with this one at all. So I hope this will also be, in case I just want to make better pics. I wanted to be a little bit more versatile. What else is better? We have a bigger zoom. I don't really care so much about it. For what I do, the zoom was always good enough. The great thing here is also, and that is something that I'm really missing on the G7, I don't have a light feed on my monitor anymore. I have live view over HDMI, but that only works unless or until I don't record. And for example, now I'm doing something that I really don't like so much, and that is staring at the small monitor, because on this one I always turned it back so I don't see it. I had the monitor if I want to see something on the quick, but if you have the lens in the middle and side by side the monitor, I always tend to watch more actually at the monitor or the small screen than the lens, and this is something that I will have to get used to. And maybe I think even after a while, if I'm adjusted enough to the camera, I will switch it back, because it's distracting if you see something moving and it's yourself and you always look at the monitor. So really something I'm missing. Also what I'm missing, I most of the times use this one on the power supply. I had the battery in just in case the power outage would be there, but I pretty much always used both cameras, even this one, on the power supply. But the Lumix or mirrorless cameras in general, I think so, don't offer this. You have to have a camera. So if I have one camera, I can only record at one piece as long as the camera is fully charged or I have enough charge, and I can't use a power supply. But the thing is, if it's just not charged, I just can't do anything unless it's done. And therefore you should have maybe 2 camera or batteries, but actually one of these cameras or batteries costs $50, the stock one. There are cheaper solutions for, I think, like 18, 20, but I'm not quite sure which one of those is actually recommendable still. So I think for the next upcoming videos we will definitely have to live with a little bit of a bouncy autofocus until I figure out something that keeps it steady in one place. Maybe I should just use maybe like a fixed focus or not, but sometimes I will have to do something, and then it could be changing. But that is the thing. The great thing though about the Lumix is we have way more options here. I have so much more options, like the aperture, the shutter speed, even though I have no idea where this shutter speed actually is, because I saw a few videos talking about shutter speeds and I have no idea what this option actually is here, because I have things like ISO, I have things like aperture, I have a value that I have no idea what it actually is, and so on. So it's definitely way more complicated. This is very easy. You just set it to autofocus, you set the white balance, and then you maybe what you should do is set the brightness level, because the aperture I use, for example, on my device always 2.8 or maybe sometimes 2.4, and that's it. That's pretty much all I do. I don't have to set up anything. I just open it, record, bam. But on this one here, I have to set the focus. Okay, I think once I have that set up, it will be okay as well. But until I am getting there, it will be way harder, and there are just things that definitely are a sacrifice. But that's why I'm quite happy that I have both, because I definitely wouldn't be able to pull off everything with 2 of the same. Because for devices, if you are a tech reviewer and for devices want something that shoots a device and you don't want to bother about getting a great device, then this is the one to go for. If you do unscripted videos like I do, if you do scripted videos, of course, then you have way more nicer shots with the focus to be the way you want it to be. But for the type of videos that I do for devices, the camcorder is the winner. But filming myself it would actually be definitely still the easier solution. I wouldn't have any issues with the autofocus. I wouldn't have any issues with the color balance and all, because this one was already great. But actually one thing that I noticed, I'm not sure why that is, but yesterday when I did a test footage, or when I was playing with the camera, I noticed that the colors seem way more natural on the G7 for some reason. Maybe I did the white balance just right, and maybe I did that quite wrong for the last couple of videos or for a long time here. Or it just is better in that case. I can't really say. And I'm stretching this video for quite a while now, but that's it so far. I'm really happy that I have both to play with that. This one, I hope over the time will provide me a better experience for myself. The quality of both now, I hope I get it right for the Mate 8 review to provide the best overall quality video that I did so far. I'm not quite so sure about the content, but let's get actually to the different contents or topics. And the next topic would be LG and Samsung always on. From what we see of leaks so far, it's pretty damn sure that the LG G5 will have always on, and from what we saw from leaks, not quite confirmed yet, that the S7 will have it as well. And I would like to know your thoughts about something like always on, because I definitely like the idea of having always without, like for example Motorola does it, the glance where you have to strive over and then see your notification, to just have them always there. That's quite handy, because sometimes the device isn't even in your eyesight, or it is in your eyesight but it's not in arm's length, and you want to see if I got something. Okay, if you have a phone that has a notification light, you see at least you got a notification, but you don't always on all get to see what it is. This would actually help, but where I don't want it, and I hope there will be kind of some do not disturb mode, that at night I don't want this, because at night it's blinding. Even though if it's on an OLED display, it will light up. And what I tended to do on all my review devices that have a notification light, because these turn on even though the device is actually on do not disturb, because it doesn't blink, it doesn't vibrate. No, it does blink, but it doesn't vibrate or make a sound. It still flashes the light. So what I tend to do, and yes, this phone, no, the notification light doesn't even work. It sometimes does and sometimes not. I'm not quite sure why yet, but I just put it with the glass on the desk so it won't wake me up at night. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? I think the idea is nice, but I definitely want the option to have it on certain times, like on Do Not Disturb mode, not to do display. But otherwise, I think the option is good if they make good use of it. And I'm quite interested to see how LG will implement it and how actually Samsung will implement it. If they make it more than just an always on display for this information, or maybe to display actually whole parts of messages or notifications, that would be quite nice. The next topic is Vessel. I see recently, more and more YouTubers switching to Vessel. It was Epos Vox just this week, and then Hardware Canucks did it for a time. Then even now Pocket Now does it. Linus Tech Tips is pretty much the first that I knew. Without him, I had never heard of it. And what are your thoughts here? Because I thought about it just a little bit, because I see others doing it, but I don't think actually... Or no, not that I don't think about switching there. I have no idea what to think of it yet, because I never used Vessel. Because there was, at the first time when it was released, there was like a 1 year free trial for a 1 year period where you can use it. I didn't actually care enough back then. I didn't take use of that 1 year, and when I wanted to, I had just 1 month to try, and I didn't want to get, because after that you would have to cancel maybe, or if you would have to pay, and I'm not quite ready for YouTube competitor that I have to pay for. And I want to know from you if you are actually, maybe you are using already Vessel, if you like it or prefer it, because I've never seen a video on Vessel, just because I don't have the access to it, and I'm not quite sure because if I would have to switch to that as a YouTuber myself, there are different categories, because some of them need to upload their content like a week earlier, but Epos Vox, for example, said he doesn't do anything of that. It's just like 1 hour earlier. So that would be nice. Definitely 1 week doesn't work for me, because I make my videos in a way that 1 week wouldn't work out. If I would have 1 hour, that's no problem. Even 1 day would be okay. But a whole week of difference for my content is something that I don't want to, especially since I still see YouTube as my main thing, not that I make a lot of money of it. But if I lose 1 week, even more so than I do already with my devices reviews coming out later. I think 1 week wouldn't really be of much help to me. And I have no idea actually of how the monetization works on Vessel. Do you get a good money? Don't you get the money? And if you maybe are actually one YouTuber, a creator, which I doubt anyone really is watching here, that is on Vessel, let me know what your thoughts are on that, and if you make revenue of that. And so I would just be interested in it, because I don't think it will be a big competition towards YouTube. Therefore, YouTube is just too big with Google in the back. But it could be something with a nice second revenue stream if it's not too much of an issue. The next, and actually already last topic, is the HTC One M10 is rumored to be released in May. And then I say M10 in May. Aww. And that is quite unfortunate, because that one was the one phone that I was looking for the most of all the recently coming ones. The S7 already, I said on the last video that it's not the first one. Even though all the qualities are great, there are just 1 or 2 software things that I need that I don't get. And actually last time I forgot one thing that is crucial for me. I don't have the long press to drop down the notification shade. It sounds totally small, but I don't like an essential function that is working on every phone but Samsung phones not to have that. Maybe over time I would get used to that, not having it, because I don't use it like all the time. But having something like that been gone and some of the bezel gestures not working is just too much of a compromise for someone who's relying so heavily on that. And that is why I'm so much waiting for the M10, that I think will be more suited for me than the LG G5 in some aspects, in terms of size, design, and the things that I was really impressed by the A9. And an actual highlight or high quality flagship from HTC would be just that. But waiting till May is long. That's until it actually maybe slightly drops in price, until I will not maybe be able to afford it, but will be able to justify to afford it. It's like June, July, and that means a half year longer with my Z3. Not that it's a big issue for some reasons. The one issue that is that I don't really use my phones that much as my daily driver, because I fortunately always have like a review device recently, but in the meantime it's still odd because I'm using it already for way over a year, which is something where it gets a little bit boring. It still does the job great, but if you review all those great flagships, there are always qualities that you are missing by now, because I don't have the best speaker. The display is nice, but it's not great. The camera is okay, but not great. The battery life is still great, the software is still great, but there are just so many minor things coming together that I still won't switch from it because it does the job. But I would really like to have a real new flagship, and that's why it's all that the M10 isn't coming anytime soon. But so far, if I have any other review devices in the meantime as a temporary solution, that is totally fine with me. So this was the video, almost 20 minutes. Again, it's actually I think more like 18 for you, because I had a pre-roll of 1 minute before I got things working. And yeah, you can drop me some comments about the video quality if you want to, but keep in mind that that's not the final quality. I think I will have to learn a lot of things to maybe improve the picture and so. I have no idea how it will actually turn out. I have no idea what it did autofocus on, because right now it seems like it's my chin or something like that. So this odd tracking spot even moves, and if I do it like now, it's on my eyes. So that is something that I have to learn. Otherwise, let me know what you think about Vessel. Let me know what you think about the M10, or what's your phone that you are waiting for. If you want maybe something like a mid-range, or what do you want to see this year in terms of phones. What was the other topic? Yes, the always on feature. Give me comments, give me feedback. That's pretty much it. Sorry, this rambling maybe wasn't news loaded, topic loaded. But it was a little bit of a slow week, and I had a lot of different things in my head. Mostly this camera. I was reading the whole week. Should I get it or should I not get it? And I finally decided to, I wanted to say catch the bullet, but it's not catch the bullet. Bite the bullet or something like that to get it. And I did. I hope it was a smart decision because I bought it in the store, so I won't be able to return it anyways. But I'm pretty sure since so many YouTubers are satisfyingly or happily using it, then it has to be good enough for me. Even though a second camcorder definitely would have had some benefits over this one, but it's definitely nice to have a proper camera this time to make actually photos. So let's cut it. I wish you all the best, a nice weekend and all that stuff, and keep out for the Mate 8 review. One little spoiler, killer. I really like it. It's just a little bit too big for me, but the rest is bye.